Hi everyone, this is Kathy, and this is what I'm up to today. I ordered this coop back in March after researching and thinking it'd be perfect for the girls. Unfortunately, when it arrived, it was completely damaged. There was no crate on it anymore, and it was just stacked bad on a broken pallet. So I had to get in touch with the company, OverEZ Chicken Coop, and got connected with their customer service, and they really took care of me. They understood the whole thing. I shared pictures with them of the damage, and they decided that it was too damaged to be worth picking up again, and ultimately left me with this coop. So after about a month of it sitting up and taking space in my garage, I thought, I should just go ahead and fix this thing and try to see if I can use it. I mean, it's too much wood to waste and too nice of a design to just throw in the dump. Oh, and by the way, big shout out and thanks to OverEZ customer service. They were awesome to work with and very understanding. I highly recommend them for buying or purchasing anything from because they really stand behind their product. With that said, let's take a look at what I ended up doing to upgrade this little baby. Before I upgraded or started doing anything, I went online and I read all of the customer feedbacks on OverEZ, Amazon, Tractor Supply that I could find. And what I was looking for was, I love this coop statements, but I wish. And then whatever the person wished the coop had, I took into consideration as I was remodeling and upgrading this particular coop. One item that many people made, statements were made, was about having to go inside of the coop to actually open the windows. So I thought, well, why not just flip the windows around so we can open them from the outside? So that's what I did. I actually flipped the windows, took the trim off, took all the trim off, and then had to pull the nails that was the trim that was holding the window in, and then I turned the window around, and then of course I had to reframe it. So in these areas I had to add a frame so that it would be sealed off on this side, and then on the inside I actually just I could use a packaging 2x3 that they had and cut it to length and then brace it from side to side to actually support the window from the inside. Now the window can easily be opened from the outside when needed for ventilation, and then closed if needed. Because the idea of the windows is for ventilation, I also purchased this little fan off of Amazon, and just I took the screen out of the back of the window and then installed this in between. It has multiple settings, and it actually is a really super good little fan. Currently I have it venting, so it's actually drawing air out of the coop, and that's just perfect for what I need at this point. The other thing you may notice that's on my coop and won't be on a coop you order is this strip up here. I had to do that. I had to run that strip on both of the long sides because of the damage to the coop. The roof did not line up properly, and I couldn't get it to hang over all the way. So what I ended up doing is just getting it on the best I could from the warp, and then I added that as a weather stripping strip of wood and then caulked that to seal that all off. Let's go in and take a look at what I did on the inside for the changes and the improvements. Okay, we're now inside the coop, and you can see across the way is the chicken door, the original chicken door. And what I've done there is I've added a predator screen to that actually is hinged and locked, in case I ever do want the chickens to go through that door, but currently I'm not going to be using that door. I also predator-proofed the windows with the welded wire mesh because they also, that little screen would never keep predators from our area out of the coop. So I wanted to do something to make sure that they couldn't get in if they tried to do the screen. It also created a nice width here so that I could put that fan in the window and not have it sticking out or being in the way of the chickens. These could also be opened if I need to ever get to the windows. It's just this little latch here. If I could get it up. Well, she's latched pretty tight. But anyway, you get the idea. You can unhook the latch, and then that whole thing is hinged on the other side so it can swing open. I painted the entire inside, ceiling, walls, and floor because of the chip damage and the scratch damage from shipment. And you know what? Ultimately, I think it was a good idea anyway. So on the floor, I have indoor or exterior porch paint, and there's about 3 coats of that on the floor. On the walls, I did exterior white barn paint, and there's probably about 3 coats of that on the walls too. I also sealed, I know it's not beautiful, but all the edges of the board so that in rainy weather it would be nice and sealed and not be a problem. So here's another, I love this coop, but I wish. I ordered the automatic door, which I love, and it normally would be installed and it would fit perfectly right where the normal chicken door is for the chickens. But when I was hearing the people on the sites make their comments, they loved the automatic door, but they wish they didn't have to go all the way through the coop to make adjustments to the programming or, anything that had to happen with that. It had to be all the way through the coop, which is, it's not really that bad, but I'm 61 now and getting on my hands and knees and going through there once the chickens are in there, I guess that'd be a little bit of an inconvenience, not necessarily bad, but could maybe be improved. So what I did is I installed the chicken door on the low wall. And what I did is I took the panel off of the chicken door, ran the wires through the top, and then into the box. I also cut a hole through the panel, the back panel, and then installed the control panel through that, so it's easily accessible on the outside of the coop. I plan on getting a cover for that eventually, but right now it's fine, it's sheltered, so it's not going to get any water damage. And down there you can see the door, and if we go here, I can just easily come out here and then hit the open button if I need to open it without going into the coop. And as you can see, the door is lifting right now, so that's perfect for me. I also have a little hole cut in here, and that's actually a temperature probe that goes in, and I have that right on the outside eave to show what the temperature and the humidity is in the coop. Currently it's 73. There's nobody in it, and it was mostly closed up, so that doesn't surprise me. And so the wires just run out there onto the side, under the eave, and then down to the entrance hole. That probe is hanging right here, which is just a couple feet above the perches, so it kind of gives the ceiling temperature, and that way I can know when I need to maybe give them more ventilation or not. because I have that predator proofed, if I need more ventilation in here, I can open that door and draw cold, cooler air from the lower thing by running that fan. So that works really good for me. I also purchased the electrical package, and you can see that's the heat light. And there it's on, there it's off. That is the switch for that. And I also have, just for convenience, I have a little solar paneled bulb, which I also got off of Amazon. And there's the control there, and I just have to reach in and push the on button, and it goes on. And if I don't want it on, I can push the off button and it goes off. There is a timer on that, so you could set the timer on that and have it, go on and off at a certain amount of hours. So that's kind of convenient too. Currently, I would just be using it for a quick on and off for the coop. So you can see here, I've got 3 nests. I got the end one and that one and that third one there for the girls. I've got 8 girls, so that's more than enough. This one is currently blocked off because in the winter months I want to make that into a feeder for them so that they can be inside and eat. And this one is also currently blocked off because that is where their water will be. So they'll have their food and their water right here at this station. And when I open the egg box, you can see here's my water dish. I really like this because I only have 8 chickens. That's more than enough water for them. It will be plugged into the thermal cube, which will then keep the water from freezing. And that will be also perfect in the cold part of the winter months. And then there's the empty box that I will construct a type of a feeder for them to just dump food in. So it's very convenient that I would just have to open the lid, latch it, and then there we go. We have everything we need right there. And then there's the 3 nesting boxes available for the girls. Another thing that I didn't really see as far as folks having, I wish, on the wish list, was these perches are designed to be on their narrow end. Let's put a little light on the subject. On their narrow end when you get the coop. What I did is, I know that at least my girls like to have a wider bar to sit on. So I went ahead and notched out the notches bigger for them, wider, so that I could flip the bars and put them in the wide way. I also, when I notched them bigger, I moved the notch away from the wall so that it would shift a little further away from the wall. You can see right here. Oops, sorry about that. Right about there. That was the original side of the notch, but I notched it over, so I gained an inch away from the upper perch, which I think will be just nice for those guys. And I also took a sander to it, and I beveled these edges here so that they have a nice gradual slant to the top instead of, just being a sharp rounded edge. I don't know, it's not picking up very well on the camera, but you get the idea. Maybe you can notice it more on the rail I'm looking at now. So the girls will really like that. Now we get to another comment of, I really like this coop, but I wish, and that was that it might be easier to clean out. If you take a look and you see from the door and where the perches are located, it's kind of a stretch, but honestly, again, that is not that bad, but you only have the woman door here to work through. So maybe if you were a larger person, it would be a little more awkward. So my solution to that was, if you look at the floor, I actually cut a 2x4. I'll get the lighting on it, at a 45-degree angle, and then screwed that to the front of the base 2x3. And that gave me a beveled, slanted edge for when I'm raking stuff out. It won't just hit that edge of the 2x4. It'll actually want to lift a little bit. See if I can zoom in on that a bit and give you a better idea. And maybe if we get here, you can see that slant there. So I added that board, and then I also, since these walls were warped and damaged anyway, didn't feel too bad at all about going ahead and cutting in 2 doors and framing those up and hinging for cleaning out the coop. So to get in and keep it predator safe, at the bottom I have 2 spring-loaded hinges, which I got off of Amazon. And then they just lift up and drop down on center. And then on the top, to really lock her down, I made my own little screw-on board latch lock so that we capture those corners, and it's really tight at the top also. Then we just go ahead and open that up and open up the other one. And what I've created is a complete opening directly under the perches that you can go ahead and get in there, whether you're trying to get a chicken, or you need to clean, or you want to build maybe another predator-proof screen and get even more ventilation in your coop. You could do that. And it just really is going to simplify managing this. I also weather stripped the edges so that when the door is closed, it's nice and sealed. You can see the weather stripping there so that it won't create any draft whatsoever unless I want to open it and do that on my own for our own needs here. Then I went ahead and hung whatever I'm going to use for cleaning right beside the coop, and that way it's all very handy when I need it. I can just come over here, grab my little hand rake, and because this is so open, I can reach in right under the things, and then because I have that little beveled edge, the rake doesn't catch there, it just slides right up, and I can just rake it right into a bucket or do what I need. I also have a big dustpan there to rake into if I want. So again, that was based on people. I love this coop, but I wish I could get in there and clean it a little bit better. If I have to spray it out with a hose now, I can spray it out and let it come out this door instead of having to direct it all to the small door or the woman door end of the coop. Once again, on this side, you can see I had to put a weather strip up there because I could not get, the bow was so bad on both of the large panels right here from the shipping damage that I just could not get that roof to span and drop the way it should have dropped. That was not OverEZ Chicken Coop's fault. That was the shipping company's fault. But I was able to compensate for that by adding this strip. And then you can see we have our ramp here. I also purchased the Predator screens that they had there that match the coop. That's down there along the bottom. I really only needed it along the front because I do have this screened in besides the coop. So right now I'm not letting them under the coop. They have plenty of other places to go. Just a quick back to the electrical package. I mounted another thing that folks had mentioned was getting to the electrical outlets. And so instead of mounting that one in the back wall as or the wall that the open door for the girls are, the small door. I went with bringing it up to the front so I could reach right in and do whatever I needed to do to manage these plugs. And of course, the main plug is right up here, and the light switch is right there. So on the switch, I can just go ahead and switch that on right here from the door or off, which is nice. I will definitely be using that, and that will also be used in case I want to hang my sweeter heater, which I already have hooks for. There's a hook there, and there's a hook there, and back there. And that's where my sweeter heater will hang once it becomes winter. And that will also be plugged into the thermo cube, so that will only come on when temperatures require it to. So again, very helpful and easy to access, all from the door, based on people's comments. So thank you, people, for saying I love this, but I wish, because that is what has motivated me for these upgrades. So thank you for watching. I hope you liked the upgrades that I did, and that you leave me a thumbs up and positive comments. And if you have some other things that I should know, feel free to let me know that. I do have a few other things that I will be recording and uploading to finish this whole thing up for when the girls actually get to go in the coop and how they like it. So watch out for those. Thank you, and have a great day. Bye.